It's been a month since our baby girl arrived. At a family gathering, out of the blue, my husband stood up and said something crazy.
Hey everyone, I've got some news. Sadly, we are getting a divorce.
Our parents and his sister were totally blindsided. And so was I. Hold on. What's this about? I burst out, clutching our baby, my voice shaking. He pointed right at me and said,
She's the reason. She's been seeing someone else behind my back.
This came out of nowhere. His folks shot me a look of disbelief. Jumping to my defense, I shot back. I've never cheated on you. With this smirky expression, my husband took out an envelope.
I had my suspicions, so I got a DNA test for our baby. The results are right here. This baby isn't mine. She stepped out of our marriage, so we're done.
The report he flashed read, Parent-child relationship, not confirmed. Every set of eyes turned to me. Their faces pale. I was at my wit's end. How could he do this to me in front of everyone? But I thought, I've got something for you. Just you wait. His big plan was about to blow up in his face. My name is Janet. I'm a 28-year-old working mom. After college, I got a job at my dream publishing house. They put me on their women's magazine team, and I gave it my all. Years went by, and it hit me. I hadn't dated anyone in over half a decade. Friends and colleagues nagged me to shake things up. So I tried out a speed dating event. That's where I met Simon, my future husband. Everyone wanted to talk with him that evening because he was tall and dressed sharp. But for some reason, after chatting with me, he liked me. We hit it off and exchanged numbers. Things took off from there, and after a year, he proposed to me.
Janet, will you marry me? Let's make this last forever.
Oh, Simon, this means everything. He was your typical office guy at a mid-sized company. Truth be told, my paycheck was bigger than his since I was with a big company. But hey, it didn't faze me. I felt we had the right stuff to make it work. Meeting my parents to talk marriage, they were all in. Over at Simon's place, his parents got all teary-eyed and gushed.
Simon struck gold with you. We were totally on board with the wedding.
Janet, look out for Simon, okay? His sister, who's big into sports and teaches PE, cracked up and said, My baby brother can be a handful, but you've got this. It felt great to see his family was so happy and supportive. Fast forward, Simon and I got married, and our journey as a married couple began. Married life was pretty good. I was putting in some serious hours at work, but Simon was on top of things at home. On weekends, we either hit the town or made something in the kitchen, just enjoying each other. And as you'd guess with any new couple, things were sizzling in the romance department. A year of this, and something nice happened. I was expecting. Simon, I think we are pregnant.
For real? That's amazing.
Both our families were over the moon, and it was nothing but happiness all around. But then, morning sickness hit me like a freight train. It was like being stuck on a rocky boat all day long, with me getting sick even when there was nothing left. I couldn't go to work, so I filled in my boss and decided to stay home until I felt better. Good thing my boss, who'd been through the whole baby thing herself, totally got it. But with me around the house more, Simon started getting a bit weird.
So, you're handling things at home now, right? I've always thought housework was such a drag.
Well, I will do my best, But this morning sickness is no joke. I need your support like before.
What? You're not working or handling chores? Isn't that a bit much?
His words caught me off guard. Don't you see? I'm pregnant with our child. It's not like I want to feel like this. I just wish you'd get it.
Okay. I hear you. But it feels like you're using the pregnancy as a free pass for everything.
The way he brushed me off made me uneasy. From then on, while Simon did chores, if I nagged him, he didn't seem to care about how I was feeling and just kept on with his usual routine. In fact, he was even more vocal about his dislike for housework, and even with my relentless morning sickness, he still expected intimacy like nothing had changed.
Hey, Janet, how about tonight?
I can't. The morning sickness is killing me.
All right, got it.
He turned away, clearly frustrated. I'd thought he'd be there for me during the pregnancy, but the reality was a real letdown. As days turned into weeks, and my morning sickness faded, Simon started coming home later and seemed more distant. He didn't check in on me much, and I felt more and more uneasy. But with everything I was going through, confronting him wasn't on my radar. Then, when I was nearly due, I saw something after a hospital visit that made my heart drop. Heading out to shop for baby stuff, I caught sight of Simon on a busy sidewalk. Right next to him was a young blonde woman, and they seemed close. Maybe it was a gut feeling. I couldn't shake the thought that they were more than friends. I lost them in the crowd, and my mood for shopping evaporated. I just headed home. Waiting for me was a text from Simon. Got held up at work again. Had he been distanced because of her? But the idea of him stepping out, especially with me being pregnant, seemed wild. Even though I was torn up inside, confronting him didn't feel right. Still, I couldn't ignore my doubts. So I dug into my pre-marriage savings and hired a private eye to tell my husband. With my due date only 2 weeks away, time was ticking. Then, 2 days out from the due date, I felt the first labor pains. I timed them, about 20 minutes apart. I thought I was going into labor, so I quickly contacted Simon to let him know that it seemed like the contractions had started. When I called the hospital, they said to come in when they were 10 minutes apart. Terrified and in pain, I kept texting Simon, begging him to get home. But nothing. When the contractions got closer, I dialed his number.
What do you want?
He sounded irritated. I've been texting. I'm in labor. Can you take me to the hospital? Pushing through the pain, I shouted. His answer was unbelievable.
Can't do it. Swamped with work. Grab a cab.
Are you serious? Your wife is having a baby here.
Sorry, but look, I will swing by the hospital later. Just hold on until then.
He hung up, sounding totally nonchalant. With no other choice, I called a cab and let my folks know, heading off to the hospital. I'd been in labor for hours, but Simon was nowhere to be found at the hospital. My mom, who'd gotten there before him, tried to ease my pain by rubbing my back. I shifted painfully onto the delivery bed, and an hour later, through immense pain, our baby was born. Just as I heard her first cries, Simon walked in.
She's here? Janet, I'm so sorry I missed it.
The way he overdid his apology in front of my folks really got to me. But right after delivering, I was too wiped out to give him a piece of my mind. I watched, still feeling weak, as he acted all fatherly, holding our little girl. A couple of days later, Simon's family dropped by Janet, you did amazing. How are you holding up? His mom asked, showing genuine concern, while his sister gifted us something for the baby. His dad looked pretty proud, saying,
Whoa, doesn't she look like Simon as a baby?
Simon, though, looked conflicted. We named our baby girl Tina. After I was discharged, Simon drove us home, and I was met with a messy house. Dirty clothes everywhere, and a sink full of dishes. Simon, why didn't you clean up? I bursted out, but all he did was shrug.
Figured you'd handle it when you got back.
I just had a baby, and I'm still healing, and I have to take care of her. He just looked annoyed and said,
Whatever, I'm out of here.
On a Sunday? Where to?
Work. I won't be back till late.
He took off, leaving me stunned with Tina in my arms. His routine stayed the same. He would come home only to crash, never helping with Tina. I was on my own for everything: feeding, bathing, bedtime. A few days into this routine, I got a call from a detective with some info to share. Since I couldn't really get around, I asked her to come over. The evidence she showed me was shocking. How could he pull something like this during my pregnancy? That evening, I did something to the unsuspecting sleeping Simon. Luckily, he didn't notice a thing. A month after Tina's arrival, we threw a little get-together. We got food and spruced up the living room a bit. Both our parents came over, totally taken by Tina. As we took some photos, our folks showered her with affection. Simon's sister showed up a bit late. Just as we were about to eat, Simon stood up.
Hey everyone, I've got some news. Sadly, we're getting a divorce.
Everyone, including his sister, was dumbfounded. So was I. Hold on, what's this about? I managed to ask, clutching Tina. Simon pointed right at me.
She's the reason. She has been seeing someone else behind my back.
My parents shot me a shocked look as he said this. I shot back immediately. I've never cheated on you. Grinning, he pulled out an envelope.
I had my doubts, so I got a DNA test. This kid? She's not mine. She cheated, so we are splitting up.
The report he waved around read, Parent-child relationship denied. Everyone's eyes were on me, disbelief all around. That was it. Enough was enough. He wanted to play this game in front of our families? Come on.
Janet, is Tina really not Simon's?
His dad asked, clearly upset. Come on, Janet. Be straight with us. My parents started, but I quickly pulled out the paper. Please, everyone, look here. This is a real DNA result for Simon and Tina. And there it was in black and white. A 99.9999% parent-child match. Everyone in the room was stunned by what had just been revealed. Simon, clearly freaking out, exclaimed,
What the heck is that? I never provided any sample. It's gotta be fake.
I swabbed your mouse while you were sleeping. The result clearly matched you. But hey, if you're doubting it, let's do another test right here, right now. Simon, after being lost for words, spat out.
Why even get a DNA test? You thought so too, right? That Tina was from another man.
Just listen for a sec, I said, hitting the play button on my voice recorder. What played next was a conversation between Simon and some other woman.
Nellie, once the divorce is final, you and me, we're gonna be together.
Really, Simon? Even with your wife having a baby and all? Is that cool? Came her reply.
I've got a plan. I'm going to make it look like she's the one who cheated. I will pay some random guy for a DNA sample. Once I have the result, I will divorce her and get some cash.
Genius, Simon! We'll need that money to start fresh. The silence followed the playback.
I can't even.
His dad began, visibly shaken, while his mom looked pale. I spread out some photos for everyone to see. Shot of Simon and Nellie going into a hotel. As you can see, he's been sneaking around with a coworker, even while I was pregnant. I had a PI collect all of this. I let out.
You knew?
Simon cried out. I fixed him with a glare. Of course I knew. The only cheater here is you, jerk. And just when he looked totally lost, my sister-in-law, the athletic type, jumped up and punched him in the face.
Seriously, sis? Guess you forgot about my black belt, huh? What the heck were you thinking? Say you're sorry to Janet and to her mom and dad, right now.
She punched him again, forcing him to apologize, while both our families looked on in shock. Out of breath, he stammered.
Janet, I messed up, big time. But I swear I do love you. Please, give me another chance.
Taking a moment, I said, who in their right mind would forgive a guy who cheats and then makes such a sick plan? We are done. Just pay up and get out of my life, loser.
Please.
His parents kept apologizing over and over to me and my fault. My sister-in-law yanked him out of the room, collar in hand. After that, our divorce went through, with Simon's bank account taking the biggest hit. We settled on a monthly child support deal. I made sure to send evidence of Simon's affair to his and Nellie's employers. Word got around their company fast, which led to her quitting, and Simon getting demoted. He became infamous as the guy who stepped out on his pregnant wife, but he was stuck working there to cover the child support. His family apologized nonstop and said they were cutting ties with him. With his family, his reputation, and his savings all gone, Simon is now slugging it out in his own personal nightmare. And honestly, I couldn't care less. He's getting what he deserves. As for me, I've been living it up, raising Tina near my parents. They've been a huge help with her, and I'm thinking of jumping back into work soon. From here on out, it's all about enjoying the little moments with Tina and living my best life.